So today we are reacting to Amberlynn's latest weigh-in. Let me make sure I have this sped up. Okay, I have this at 1.5 times speed. I have the volume hopefully figured out. I'm really not good with this whole reaction thing. So here we go.
Hey guys, so welcome to Wednesday weigh-in. So how I do my Wednesday weigh-ins is I talk about each day, how I felt, what I did, if I was on track, off track, and I think what I do differently than like the typical weight loss video is that every day I do weigh-in, so I talk about how much I lost each day. I like doing that because it shows where my fluctuations are. Like if I fluctuate and gain like 3 pounds one day, I'm able to sit there and be like, okay, well obviously I ate something wrong that caused me to have that happen. And then if I lose a lot of weight the next day, then I know, okay, well that meal plan is working really well, and I understand that fluctuations do happen. So last Wednesday on March 11, I weighed 514.8. So in my little notes, what I wrote for that day is that I did overeat. I had mashed potatoes, shredded cheese, and peas. For some reason, that whole like recipe, it's not really even a recipe, but it's just really good.
Cheese. Cheese is something that I've had a really hard time with cutting back on. I will, like I've said before, never not love cheese. It will always be in my diet as long as it's around. But I've gotten much better at portioning and restricting how much cheese I actually eat because it's so calorie dense and there's so much fat in it. And being that I am generally on a higher carb diet, eating high carbs and high fat does not really work too well for weight loss. It's usually one or the other.
I really enjoyed it. And then I also had some peanut M&Ms, but what I would like to say about that is I stopped myself from eating them before it got too bad. I actually gave the rest of it.
I'm only laughing because I've had the same mentality. You know, junk food's junk food, and I'm not bashing her for eating peanut M&Ms. I love M&Ms. I love candy. Very much addicted to anything with sugar and chocolate and sweetness. And my biggest complaint is that she had them on hand. She had them available to her. I know if I have them on hand, I'm going to be consuming them. So I try really hard not to buy those things. If I do, it's usually when my kids have, you know, earned a little treat or something, and it's for them, and I usually have a couple pieces along with them splitting a bag or something. It's not rocket science, just don't buy the junk. It's another reason why we were talking the other day on this channel about needing to go grocery shopping when you are not hungry, because then you don't shop with your stomach.
Becky, I knew I could easily eat the whole bag and just sit there and just continuously eat them, but I did stop myself, and it was like a lot of restraint. It was really hard, I'm gonna be honest. So
I also wanted to say really quick that I think it's great that she's keeping a log of her weight and what she ate the day before and trying to pinpoint how she can do things better, because that's, you know, self-awareness. That's progress in my eyes.
the next day, on March 12th, I weighed in at 514.2, so that means I was down 0.6 from the day prior. So this is the day where I noticed that after I have a smoothie in the morning, I get really dizzy. It's something that I noticed for a few days now. That day, March 12th, it was really bad, and it almost felt like I was actually going to like pass out, even though I knew I wasn't. And I think the biggest reason for that might be is because I do IF, where I don't eat for a very big, large portion of the day.
Intermittent fasting is not something that I have a lot of experience on. I don't like being hungry. I don't like restricting myself. And I know it works for a lot of people. It's just not something that I am comfortable with, because I know that I'm more prone to binging and eating crappier foods. As far as her being dizzy when she has that, I don't think it's correlated with the smoothie directly. That would be something that she would want to speak to a doctor about, because that should not be happening. Maybe having something more savory, or maybe having some oatmeal in the morning with a little bit of sweetness to it instead of an entire smoothie. You can also mix in some yogurt into that if she's still wanting to do the probiotics.
And I think that ending my fast like that with a smoothie, for some reason, I don't think it's like adding up with my body, and it's not really, I guess it's not really good for it. So I have soft smoothies in the morning, and now I eat things like Luna bars because that has less sugar.
Okay, Luna bars are not the worst things in the world to be eating. Sugar coming from fruit is going to be much more acceptable in your body. It's easier to digest. It regulates your blood sugar levels easier than something that's processed like a Luna bar.
Hasn't made me dizzy at all. Sometimes I'll just have like turkey bacon and rice cakes with like laughing cow cheese on top, and those things have definitely been making me feel a lot better.
I'm kind of the same way too. I don't mean to keep stopping every 10 seconds. I'm the same way where I like to have things that are savory in the morning versus sweet. And that's not to say that I don't love sweet things in the morning, but usually the first thing I eat is my sweet potato quiche that I make. It's just a sweet potato crust with a whole bunch of vegetables, whatever I have on hand in there, and some garlic and some paprika and then some eggs all baked. And I cut them into squares and I just heat that up and eat that every day. And it's so good. Sometimes I get a little sick to my stomach in the morning when I have too much fruit or sugary things.
You guys hear the water just running in the kitchen. I hope it's not like annoying or anything. So for that day, like honestly, everything went really well. So the next day on March 13th, I weighed 512.2, which was a 2-pound loss from the day prior, which this day I actually hit down 60.2 pounds.
Yay!
So that's exciting, although I don't feel like super excited about it because like I have other goals I want to reach. So that
You should still allow yourself to feel the excitement, but I understand the not really feeling the excitement towards that achievement. After you've been losing weight for a little while, it's not that you're not excited, it's just that it feels a lot less substantial and a lot less exciting as you're going on, because it's just another number. And as bad as that sounds, sometimes it motivates you, sometimes it doesn't. I think one of my biggest motivations from when I was losing weight, one of the first times I actually cried real excited tears was when I saw the number change from a 2 to a 1. So I was officially in my 100s, not my 200s anymore, and I just bawled because I hadn't seen that number in so long, and it was amazing. I think it's normal to kind of go numb to what's happening, but there will be times when she reaches other goals and will be just over the moon, and it'll propel her to keep going.
That was my first day with a new breakfast, which I had rice cakes with PB2 on it, which I actually did vlog, and I really did enjoy that, although I realized while I was eating it, I put too much PB2, so I ended up taking some off, and then it was perfect. And on that day, Becky and I talk about how she can help me with binging, because a lot of the times when I binge, it's like, I ask her, hey, will you make me ramen? And you guys know that whole story, it's whatever. It's not her fault, it's my fault, I'm asking for it at the end. But I told Becky if that ever happens again, I want her to tell me things like, don't do it, you're gonna be mad at yourself, you're gonna feel super guilty, and just kind of be like super, super stern about it. And she has agreed that she's going to do that, so let's hope it works. So the next day, on March 14th, I weighed in at 509.6, which was a 2.6 weight loss from the day prior. So that day, I woke up with really bad self-loathing. I honestly just like hated myself, and the reason why is because of my lymphedema. It's been on my mind a lot lately. Normally, I just like put it in the back of my mind, like back when I wasn't losing any weight. But now that I am losing weight, it's like parts of my body are getting smaller, but then other parts of my body that have lymphedema, which is my right calf and my lower stomach, those areas are getting smaller. It's making me feel super like self-conscious. It's making me hate myself because it's not curable. And I think that's the part that freaks me out the most, is I'm always gonna have like a deformed body.
You have to stop and think to yourself, though, how lucky you are. Just think about all the blessings in your life. You're still mobile, despite your size, and you are now actively losing weight, and you're doing great as far as I'm concerned so far. And don't dwell on the things that you can't change. You know, it's a mistake. Everyone has mistakes. Everyone has battle scars, so to speak, of their mistakes throughout their life. Life's messy. It is what it is. And my point is that it could be so much worse. You know, you could have lost limbs, or you see people who are immune compromised or born with special needs and that sort of thing, and they still make the best out of their life. So just don't look at it as a challenge. Just think about it as I was blessed that it's not worse than it is. Do what you can to fix what you can, and what's out of your control is out of your control. There are plenty of parts of me that I do not like. As I got smaller, certain parts got smaller and certain parts didn't, and some parts got changed in a way that I didn't anticipate. And my body, it's got its own story. It's not the way I want it to look, but at the same time, I know that my body is also a goal body for so many people who are struggling, and I have to remind myself that I'm blessed for where I am and how I've turned out. And it's not always going to be the way that it is now. It can still change. Gotta go get cookies out of the oven.
And I know it's like a very bad way of thinking, but that's just where I was at on that day. And on that day also, I was getting a lot of messages and comments saying I only lost weight because I was sick. I lost 50 pounds in January because I was sick. Couldn't eat because I was sick. A lot of people were saying those things, and I was already hating myself so much that day that I was reading that stuff. And it honestly really got to me, because the whole thing about losing 50 pounds in January because I was sick, I only lost 18 pounds in January. And a lot of people were saying I couldn't eat while sick. When I had tonsillitis, which was literally only for a week, and out of that week there was only 3 days where it hurt to eat, but the thing is, I still ate. Your girl still binged, and ice cream was involved, a lot of it. So I don't quite understand that. But then when
You don't have to understand it. People are gonna hate. They're gonna find every reason to hate and leave hate. And that's on them. That's not on you. That's a reflection of their character, not yours. Not to say that they don't have the right to be angry. Again, I'm well aware of all the things that has happened in the Amberverse, but there's that.
I was done with the whole tonsillitis things, I was able to get back on track. It's just confusing, because it's like being sick had nothing to do with the fact that I sat there and I would say no to binging a lot of the days. Like, yes, in a month when we look at the average, I do binge. Like, I'm not 100% perfect, but I used to binge every single day. Now if I look at a month and I can sit there and be like, wow, I only binged 4 days out of that month, that's crazy. That's because I said no to binging.
Yeah, that's great progress. You're not gonna be perfect, especially right away or ever. It could be something that you suffer with permanently, and that's kind of where I'm at. I suffer with the choice of, do I binge, do I not binge? The choice should obviously always be no, but it's easier said than done, especially if you don't understand how the body works and those desires and all of that side of things. Some days you win, some days you don't, but you got to keep pressing on and doing your best to say, no, I'm an adult, I'm fully capable of being better than my urges, and I'm going to say no. Some days are better than others, and there's no shame in being human and admitting that you mess up once in a while, but it's okay. You just pick yourself back up and you keep going.
Up most to easily 60 times, and that's because I watched what I ate. It's because I ate smaller portions, and it's because I was trying. It's not because I was just like, woo, I'm gonna eat whatever I want, and weight loss is just falling off me because I'm sick. That doesn't make sense, because I have been sick in the past. I have been sick a lot in the past. I have had tons of infections, and I have done nothing but maintain a very heavy weight, or I have gained and gained and gained. So it was just very insulting. It takes away all the hard work.
I completely understand what she's saying here, especially now that I am smaller. There's a lot of people who think that you just naturally maintain this size. They don't understand where you came from and what you used to look like or how you used to eat. They just don't understand that it doesn't come naturally. Some people it does, and God bless those people, but I'm not one of those people, and I know I'm not one of those people, and I work my ass off to get the workouts in that I can and do the exercise and the movements, and making sure that I'm making smarter choices with my food. It's hard. It's a very difficult thing to consciously do every single day, but it gets easier. It does. And to that, I just say you have to let it roll off your shoulders. People's opinions don't matter. They don't understand. They're not in a position to understand, and you're not alone. There's so many of us out here that are going through the same things every single day. So I get it.
And I think that might be a really big reason why, like, oh, I'm down 60 pounds, but like, I don't feel happy for myself because I have thousands of people telling me that I could be doing better.
Don't let people get you down. It doesn't matter what other people think. It really doesn't. You're still doing the thing, and it's not a competition. It's not a race.
And it does mess with your brain. I don't care if it was just like one person in my life saying these things to me, or if it's 1,000 people online saying these things to me. I put in the efforts to lose weight like I never have before, so that is why I'm losing weight. So the next day on March 15th, I weighed in at 507.4, which was a 2.8 weight loss from the day prior. So that was actually the lowest I've ever been at 64 pounds lost on that day.
Nice.
So this day was particularly hard for me because the whole virus. I know a lot of people are suffering with worry and anxiety. I want to cry just talking about it. This one's just been, it's been scary. It's been sad. It's been heartbreaking. It's just, we've never been through something like this. I'm going to speak for myself. I'm 29 years old. So in the last 29 years, nothing like this has happened. And I don't know what to expect. I just don't, it's just the unknown is scary. Everything.
The unknown is scary, and I think everybody else, again, can relate to this. A lot of us are not panicking, but everyone's concerned, and rightfully so. We don't know what to expect, but again, you need to control what you can control, which means your attitude, how you respond to things, your outlook. Just stay positive, stay focused, and it will soon just be another hurdle in the rearview mirror that you jumped. Things are going to happen whether you want them to or not. So you just got to learn to roll with the punches in life in general.
The thing that's going on in the world right now is like, it makes me want to just go in a corner and just eat all those worries away, all those feelings away, and I'm having to fight myself every single second not to overeat, because when I feel this way, I have always turned to food, and it's always made me feel so much better while I'm eating it.
I'm the same way. I've actually been home since yesterday from work by choice because I have a cold. It's not the virus, and I feel much better tonight. But being home, I've been struggling to not overindulge in food. I have to remind myself that I still need to eat the way that I'm supposed to eat, otherwise it's not going to work out. And I did great on my calories today. I'm actually 145 below my 1750 that I normally allow myself to eat in a day.
And now it's like I can't turn to food, so I have to like suffer, like literally suffer through the anxiety and the pain and the worry and the tears and just the fear. And it's scary because like I don't have that outlet no more.
You feel your stuff.
So
you gotta feel your emotions, feel all that, and work through it and realize that it's gonna be okay. It sucks, but it's gonna be okay. And we're all dealing with that.
Able to succeed, and I did not binge. On that day, I was also being pointed out that I do pay attention to calories. If you guys watched my what I ate today, I didn't even notice it, but in the video I kept talking about calories, even though in the beginning of it I said I don't count calories, I don't pay attention to calories. A lot of people were pointing out to me, okay, why does she keep talking about calories if she doesn't pay attention to calories? So I just sit down and like really process, like, how do I decide what I'm gonna eat?
See, this is what I like to see. This is progress too. Instead of lashing out and saying, no guys, I don't count calories, and despite obviously doing it, she's reflecting and realizing, maybe I do, maybe they do matter to me.
And you guys, I pay attention to calories every single time I eat. I make sure that my breakfast stays at a certain amount of calories, I make sure that my lunch stays at a certain amount of calories, and my dinner. I'm allowed to, you know, go off base fare by like 100 or 200 calories, but it's not like I'm sitting there logging everything and restricting myself, because even if I did eat a little bit more one day, it's okay because I felt like my body needed it, versus, oh, I just want to binge or overeat. Like if I eat a little bit more in a day because I seriously felt like, oh my god, I'm actually hungrier than usual, then that's okay. I think that's what I was talking about when it came to like intuitive eating. But
I don't do intuitive eating because I don't trust myself. I don't trust my body because I still sometimes have processed foods, and you cannot trust a body intuitively when you're consuming processed foods. It's not how it works. I understand what she's trying to say here, but it's just my 2 cents. I'm not saying you shouldn't intuitively eat. If you can, that's great. I'm just saying that I can't do it.
But I just appreciate you guys, a lot of you guys, pointing out that, girl, you do pay attention to calories, just admit it. Because I do. Because, example, when I went to Ruby Tuesday, you know, what I originally wanted was something that was like 800 plus calories, and I was like, well, no. So I did choose something that was less calories, because when it comes to me, if I didn't know anything about calories and I was to sit there and do like intuitive eating, I wouldn't lose weight. That's a point blank period. But since I do know a lot about calories, and I do look at the nutrition label, and I do pay attention to serving size, I think that's really what's helping me. Next day, on March 16th, I weighed in at 505.2, so that was a 2.2 weight loss from the day prior, and my notes on that day is just, I consistently all day wanted to overeat, I wanted to binge, like literally, you guys, my emotions are like, I don't know what they're doing. It's like a tornado is inside of my body, and I can't get it out. I know a lot of people are dealing with this. And I do also want to point out that on that day, I said no to a brownie, and it was the hardest thing I've done in a long time. And I know a lot of people are going to watch this video.
Yay, that's great.
If you struggle with binge eating, or if you struggle with like hardcore overeating or food addiction, then you understand how powerful a no is.
Yeah, it can be extremely hard, especially on a super emotional day. I understand. That's great. I'm very proud of her.
So the next day, on March 17th, I weighed in at 504.8, which was a 0.8 weight loss from the day prior.
Wow.
And I wrote down that I was upset about my weigh-in. I was upset because I only lost 0.8. So losing 0.8 in one day is amazing. A lot of people push for that. But for some reason, because I was losing so well in the last few days, like I was down like 2 pounds, and then 2.2, and then 2.8, 2.6, like I wanted more of that. I want to lose this weight fast.
Yeah, it's easy to get caught up in that. Some days are less exciting than others for weigh-ins. I don't weigh myself every day anymore. I do it periodically now because I found myself obsessing over the scale. But when I was actively losing weight, I was weighing myself every single day, and there was, some streaks where I would lose a pound or 2 a day, and I was so excited. And then there would be times where the scale would be stuck, or it would go up a little bit, and it was frustrating and infuriating, and it would get me upset. Look at this judgy face she's giving me. But my point is that it's same as always. You just got to keep chugging along and taking your weight loss in stride on the days that they aren't as exciting. And know, again, that it's not a race. Remind yourself, repeat it in your head. This is not a race. This is not a competition. I'm only trying to be better than I was the day before. That's not always going to happen. And that's okay.
Because I'm feeling so much better, I just can't even imagine how my body's gonna feel when I just continue losing. And it's just, I want to lose this weight. Like, that's a point blank period. So for some reason, I was really upset about that. And I actually put a quote down what I said yesterday. I said everything would be better while in a bed with Ben and Jerry. Because again, another day where I wanted to binge my feelings away, and I literally could not stop thinking about a pint of ice cream. Like, it was pretty bad. So that's what a Ben and Jerry is, by the way, which I'm sure everyone knows. But again, another day of success. Like, you guys, I have weeks where I am able to say no to wanting to overeat. I'm able to say no to the binges. I'm very strong. But then there are weeks where I'm just not, where I literally am just not strong enough. And that's just part of this process, and something that I'm going to have to continue to accept, that sometimes I am weak. But this week, I was not weak. So today, on Wednesday, March 18th, I weighed in at...
Hear it? Ooh, let's see. She can be under 500. Oh, so close. That's awesome.
At 503.8. So that
she's going to be under 500 next week, guys. Oh my God, that's exciting.
was from the day prior. I lost 0.6. So that means this week I am down 11 pounds.
Yay! Excellent.
So that means in total I've lost 68.6 pounds. So that means I'm pretty much down 70 pounds, because in 1.4 or 1.6 I will be down exactly 70 pounds. Can we just
That's amazing.
Wow, celebrate?
Yeah,
so
celebrate away.
Really freaking good. For some reason I just feel like I'm not doing good enough, and it's the craziest feeling.
You do get into that cycle of, could I be doing more? Why am I not better at this? But that's part of learning the balance of sustainability, because I know if I go harder, I'm not gonna be okay with it in the long run. I'm going to crack eventually. I'm not the kind of person where I can just buckle down and say, this is what I'm doing, and I'm not doing it any other way. I have to have the options, because I'm spoiled and privileged like that. The slower the progress, I think the more sustainable it is long term. Not just physically, but like emotionally, mentally. It might take a lot longer than what you had envisioned it, but you will get there.
Because in the past, I would be like thrilled and like bragging about losing 11 pounds, but it's just like, I'm not there. I used to brag about losing 2 pounds in a week. And you guys, for some reason, just subconscious.
When I was doing the weight loss the yo-yo dieting, I guess. I used to brag about losing 2 pounds or 3 pounds or 5 pounds or even 10 pounds, and then I'd gain it all back and then some, and then I'd lose a little bit more and then I'd gain it all back and then some. And it just got to the point where when I first started losing weight, I think the first video I ever made on this channel for my weight loss was when I lost 20 pounds. And even then I didn't even feel like I should be celebrating, because I could have easily gained all of that back and gone backwards on my progress, and I didn't feel like I should be excited about that. And then slowly, it kind of crawls back up to 30 pounds lost, and I'm like, okay, it's kind of real now. But the more, hi Zoidberg, the more I lost, I was starting to get a little more excited, but it felt less dramatic than I thought it was going to be. I mentioned that in the last reaction video. It's not some crazy dramatic reveal, oh my god, look at me, this is what I accomplished so quickly kind of thing. It's a slow process, and it's gradual, and it can be boring, and you can feel like I shouldn't be celebrating this, like it's not that exciting, it's just another 10 pounds. But realistically, taking the moment to appreciate your hard work and say, I did this. Nobody else did this. I did this. I'm proud of myself. And giving yourself a pat on the back. Just acknowledge to yourself that you are getting to where you want to go. That's what matters in the end.
Mentally, I don't know what's going on. I just feel like I'm not doing good enough. I think it's because I want to lose more, but yet I'm doing everything I need to. Like, I'm eating small portions, I'm cooking for myself, I am saying no to binges, overeating. So it's like I'm doing everything that I can. So I need to just let my body do its thing. It'll lose what it wants when it wants. I do need to be proud of the 11-pound weight loss this week, and I am. And I cannot wait to be in the 400s. I think that's what it is. I think it's because that's like my goal that I've set in mind, is like I want to be in the 400s so bad. I don't want to ever see the 500s again.
Time to be setting that 300-pound goal, girl. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
So to lose that, since I'm 503.8, to what I have to lose to get to 400, sorry, I'm like stumbling on my words, is 3.8, or like 4 pounds. So I honestly can't wait, and I feel like that'll definitely happen this week. Crossing my fingers, because I feel like I'm starting to lose a little less every day now, like 0.6, 0.8, but I mean, it's definitely possible. So I hope you guys had a good week. I hope you guys are staying safe and doing everything you can to continue staying safe. We are all in this together, and it's scary. I just hope we get through it. Every time I start wanting to talk about it, I get emotional. Okay, so let's not talk about it. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next one. Bye.
Have a good week to you too, Amber. Can't wait to see your weigh-in next week and see you in the 400s. It's going to happen. Oh my gosh, you guys, I'm so excited for her. Very, very, very proud of her. It's time for me to put this old man to bed, and myself. I'm an old lady, so 9 o'clock bedtime. Remember that change does not happen overnight, and it is always progress, not perfection. Bye, guys.